No matter if points are gained or points are lost, there will be much to discuss. For analysis regarding tonight's Winnipeg Jets game, here are Dave Manouk, Ezra Ginsburg, and your host, Drew Mandel. The Illegal Curve post-game show, presented by Play Now, the official sports betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets, starts now.
Good evening, Winnipeg. Good evening, Manitoba. For all those joining us live this evening on our YouTube channel and all of our social media platforms, we say good evening, universe, and welcome to the Illegal Curve post-game show with Ezra Ginsburg, with Dave Manouk. I'm your host, Drew Mandel, here to discuss the Winnipeg Jets' dominant 8-3 victory over the San Jose Sharks. Winnipeg Jets team that hasn't played since last Sunday against a San Jose Sharks team that is minus some expected regulars on the second half of a back-to-back. And gentlemen, on paper, this had all the makings of a one-sided contest. But as we well know over the years, just because it's on paper that way doesn't mean it translates that way. But tonight was certainly one of those nights where it did translate, and this was an absolute just a one-sided game from puck drop to final whistle in favor of the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Drew, you just said that, even though it's a mismatch on paper, that doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a lopsided score, right? But second game of the back-to-back for the Sharks, obviously, no William Eklund, who's a good young player. We already knew Macklin Celebrini wasn't going to play. We weren't sure about Will Smith, but then we found out that was part of their plan to rest Smith. For those that didn't see it earlier, the plan was to rest him throughout the season in the second game of back-to-backs, or I should say in back-to-back situations, right? So for those who don't know, Will Smith is a third overall pick, so he's a big part of the future for the Sharks. But guys, the Sharks team just isn't very good, right? Like they made some good acquisitions in the offseason. Like, sure, you bring in Alex Wenberg, you bring in Barclay Goodrow, you bring in Cody Ceci on the back end from the Oilers. But I'm not sure if Sharks GM Mike, like, as you guys know, and as a lot of people know, I'm a Devils fan. Like, I'm not sure why the Sharks are bringing in ex-mediocre New Jersey Devil goalies in Mackenzie Blackwood and Vitek Vanacek, because those guys were below average for the Devils and they couldn't stop a beach ball tonight. And that really let them down. Like, I'm not taking anything away from this Jets performance, because the Sharks just simply didn't have the puck tonight. The Jets had the puck for, 75% of this game here. But I mean, the Sharks goaltenders, both of them, they just couldn't give them a save when they needed it. Now, I don't think that if you had Igor Shesterkin or Connor Hellebuck on that, I still think the Sharks team is missing the playoffs. But it was poor goaltending, starting with that first goal by Josh Morrissey. Look, like, Josh Morrissey's done that many times before, but that was a long shot, and obviously there was some traffic in front. But it goes back to what I said before, guys. Like, this Sharks team is not going to win a lot of games this year. They might win more games than they did last year. But the Jets took advantage. And look, you give a team 7 power play goals. Pardon me. You give a team 7 power play opportunities, they're going to make you hurt. So you love to see that if you're a Jets fan, and obviously the coaching staff and the players to boot. But 4 power play goals, guys, like, pretty much everything that went well for the Jets could have gone right tonight on the power play. And yes, the Sharks scored 3 goals. They were pretty meaningless. And, you don't like, some of the lapses in defensive play, but I think that's bound to happen when you're up, 4 or 5 goals.
Okay, with that soliloquy from Ezzy out of the way, we will welcome Dave Manouk into the program. And I joke, Ezzy, and I kid, but you're absolutely right. The San Jose Sharks team is most nights not going to be able to compete with their opponent. They're just not as good as most of the opponents they're going to face, night in and night out. And so when they need to succeed, or when they do get success, it's going to be because they also get exceptional goaltending. And they didn't get anything of the sort tonight. This was just one of those games where you could tell from puck drop. Sometimes they talk about scheduled losses, and this is it had all the makings of a scheduled loss. You're playing a Jets team, first of all, that's frankly a lot better than you are. Second of all, you're playing a Jets team that has done nothing but practice since their last game on Sunday. So they've just been they've just been, right. They took Monday off, but they practiced on Tuesday. They've just been doing nothing but really just skating around and getting some more reps in. And you're a Sharks team that got to Winnipeg late last night after playing in Chicago. It's had all the makings of a one-sided game, and the Jets took advantage of that, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I think from a Jets perspective, it's interesting because it's one of the things that Nikolai Ehlers talked about when we spoke with him this morning at Canada Life after morning skate. And he said something to the effect of, well, we've had 4 days our line hasn't been very good.
Mm-hmm.
He said he liked the way they played defensively, but not great. Good, not great, he said. He was critical, which is what he usually is. Honest, I would say, is what he usually is. And he said, we'll be a lot better. And he said, I love playing with those guys, being obviously Vlad Domestikov and Cole Perfetti. And he said, we've watched a lot of video. We're ready to be a lot better. Well, with Perfetti getting on the board, Domestikov getting on the board, and Ehlers getting on the board, they were a lot better. Now, you could say, sure, they're punching, a pretty, at one point I was watching, I was like, is this an AHL team or an NHL team?
It was the San Jose Barracudas.
Yeah, like San Jose is not a good hockey team, as he, laid out. But at the end of the day, there's still some NHL talent on that team, and you had to beat them. And you couldn't, as you said, Drew, get lulled into it because we saw the Jets do this last year against San Jose. This Jets team, 110 points last year, and they got lulled. I mean, those San Jose games were a lot closer than they needed to be. So on a night, ironically, dedicated to Connor Hellebuck and how stellar he's been, he wasn't super stellar in goal for the Winnipeg Jets. And he didn't need to be because his team was more than capable of scoring quite a bit throughout the course of the evening. And it's good because at the end of the day, you have, like we talked about, the day off on Monday. You have 3 days of practice. Obviously, Wednesday was an optional. But the idea being that at least now you're kind of regaining that momentum because what did we talk about at the beginning? We said, look at the way the schedule plays out for the Winnipeg Jets. And if you're the Winnipeg Jets after 5 games, you should either be 4-0 or 5-0, 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Right now they're 4-0, pretty impressive. And again, people could say, well, there's issues. Sure, there are, and you can clean those up. But if you're Scott O'Neill, you're happy with the fact that your team seemed to show a commitment to the way you wanted them to play after these 3 days of practice, and you got the results.
Well, I thought that Kevin Sawyer said something interesting, probably. I think it was in the first intermission or as the first period came to an end. He said the Jets didn't take their opponent lightly. They didn't take their opponent for granted. And I think that's important because sometimes we have seen versions of the Winnipeg Jets, and not strictly Winnipeg, but lots of teams throughout the league, that they get a little too fat. What is it? What's the old saying? Is it pigs get fat, hogs get
fat on the hog?
No, there's
fat on the hog.
Say that again.
Isn't it fat on the hog?
No, I mean there's an element to that. I'm gonna actually look up the quotes because I'm butchering it.
Oh, sorry, I just looked it up. It says living fat on the Mindell. Sorry.
Oh, fat on the Mindell. That's what the quote is. Sorry, I couldn't remember exactly what it is. But the point is you have to jump on an opponent like that. You have to take it to them early. You don't want to give San Jose any life. You don't want to give San Jose any thought that they're going to be able to sneak into this game and stay in this game. And so the Jets did exactly that. They just came out and they said, no, this is going to be over before you know it. And really it was over after 20 minutes, Ezzy.
Yeah, and Dave mentions the Ehlers-Nemestikov Perfetti line, and obviously, Perfetti has the 2 goals in the third period, 1 even strength, 1 in the power play. But you love the fact, to me, what stood out is the killer instinct that the Jets had tonight, right? It wasn't just in the first period early on; it was throughout the game. Anytime the Sharks pushed back, then the Jets would kind of score another goal and make the game even further out of reach, right? And you love the fact that Ehlers draws the first penalty and then scores, right? It was Wenberg that tripped Ehlers, and then Ehlers scores on the power play, right? It's hard. A week ago or a couple of weeks ago, I said that Ehlers only had 1 power play goal. He actually didn't have any power play goals last year, guys.
None.
So even more incredible, right? So look, I think at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, Hellebuck would like 1 or 2 of those goals back, but I don't think he really cared with Chuck in the stands and everybody celebrating him, his 500th career start. 8-3 is a resounding win. And yes, the Jets should beat the Sharks, and they were in the second game of a back-to-back, but they got the job done. And look, guys, this could have easily been one of those games like last year, and the Jets maybe, eked out a 2-1 or 3-2 victory, and we'd be talking about how, they took maybe their opponent a little bit too lightly, and they should have beat them by 3 or 4 goals, right? So I think overall, the Jets outskated them and just basically outclassed the Sharks in every sense of the word. They showed that this was really, Goliath versus David.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And David didn't have a slingshot and he didn't have a pebble in this game. So Goliath simply took it to them top to bottom. And we'll get into, of course, the game recap, the Play Now game recap. But first, of course, we're going to hear from Scott O'Neill in the Matt Froth Media Center. So we're just waiting for that to happen. That's going to start momentarily here on the Illegal Curve post-game show presented by our friends at Play Now. We do this after each and every Winnipeg Jets game. We'll do it again tomorrow morning with the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, 9 a.m. So be sure to schedule that into your calendar. That is also brought to you by Play Now. Learn to bet with Play Now, the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. Sign up and get up to $250 in bonus bets. Conditions apply, 18 plus. Enjoy responsibly. The quote that I was trying to go with is pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And the Jets tonight were pigs. They weren't hogs. They weren't lazy. They weren't just resting on their laurels. They weren't being too greedy. They played the game the way they're supposed to play it.
Scott, is that one of those games that's nice for so many guys to get their first and kind of everybody has a piece of it, and it gets a lot of guys probably feeling pretty good about the offensive side of the game for sure?
Yeah, we obviously had only scored 1 goal the last couple, and we had gotten lots of chances. Each unit and each line, it seemed like they had their share of opportunities that didn't go in. And tonight it's nice to see everybody kind of get rewarded for it, and great to see our the Nemestikov line get rewarded the way they did.
Yeah, we were just looking. Someone's got a stat up that showed just with Cole Perfetti on the ice. I think the shot attempts were 21-0, 14-0 shots on goal, and 7-0 goals. That includes all situations, but that seemed to be a pretty dominant performance from him and his line mates. Did you sense kind of once they got going early that the confidence just kind of really increased?
Yeah, I mean, what I was saying there the last couple of games is that they were spending no time in our end of the rink. It wasn't like they were a line that you couldn't put out there because they're just going to spend the whole time defending, and that's not what was happening. And they weren't spending a whole lot of time offensively in the offensive zone. But tonight it all clicked. But to me it started. Cole had a couple of great back checks that started. I think the first goal. Just him getting back. Those guys defending first. Fly using his speed and pushing people back. I just thought tonight they've been stressing and kind of pushing each other and kind of really wanted to be a part of the offense, and tonight it exploded and it was great to see.
Just one more from me, but how do you as a coach, when you get a big lead so early, kind of manage the not getting into any bad habits, that sort of thing, because you obviously don't want that to carry over?
Yeah,
right?
Those are tough games, and that's what I mentioned, the guys that after the first, and it's you try to stay in good habits and keep doing the right things, because if you are, then you're going to get your chances again. And there was a few breakdowns here and there, but at the end of the day, those are tough games to play in. I mean, and again, a lot of power plays, a lot of those situations, so it kind of throws a little bit off. Some guys maybe end up sitting a little bit more, but at the end of the day, we found a way to win, and they had a couple of pushes, but then we bounced right back and got the lead.
Scott, was it added excitement, motivation with this being Hallebuck's night? The guys wanted to win it for him, probably.
Yeah. The guys were obviously nice little gift he got this morning there from the players, and all he's done for this the organization, and just what he's he means to this hockey team. For them to give him a lot of run support, to go out and get what was it, four in the first period. That's a big, obviously he can settle in and do what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, it's you want to give him some nights off and give him an opportunity, maybe not to see a ton of shots, a ton of pressure against them. And we did enough, obviously offensively, which really kind of helped them out.
You mentioned kind of how even the past 3 games, the Nemestikov line wasn't struggling defensively. They just weren't really kind of generating offense. How much tonight do you think that their neutral zone play kind of drove their ability to generate more offense?
Tonight they attacked and with I thought they filled the lanes, all 3 lanes, real well. I thought they, whether it was support or whether it was making the simple play to kick it to the speed, they got like I mentioned, from the top of our circles in the D zone to the top of the opposition circle without turning pucks over, without losing it. They got in with speed, and then that created the cycle, or that created the opportunity off the rush. And I knew that I've seen it in the past with those guys, and that's why we kept stressing on in practice. We do a lot of rush drills in practice that master it there. In the games, you get into the games, and hopefully it comes a little bit easier for them. And I thought tonight that they were very cohesive. They worked together, real good close support. They didn't have to try high risk things. They just kept it simple, and obviously got rewarded for it.
It's, is tonight another example of kind of why you think that Perfetti and Ehlers are two players that complement each other well? There was a lot of instances where Perfetti was making a perfect pass, Ehlers was gaining speed. Like, was that kind of an example of what you've been aiming to get?
Yeah, like I said, all three of those guys have real good skill set, and they complement each other when they're all on their game. And I thought tonight it was probably the game where it was the game that all three of them were at their best. And there's been games where maybe it's a period, one of them's going, two of them are going, but it was never all three. And tonight it was all three right from the start.
I don't know if this is a game that you chop up and show a whole bunch of video from, given the depleted lineup, but also you have that offense you got out of defense, like you said, those plays Cole Perfetti made. You had Kyle Connor tracking back to the far post. There's a lot of little habitual things that went right today. So what do you take forward from the win?
Yeah, well, I mean, the biggest thing I was stressing this morning and prior to the game was the first period, that we knew they'd come in on obviously playing last night. It was how good we were going to be. They weren't going to hand us something. We had to go and take it from them, and I thought we did. And it was because we tracked back. We forced them to dump pucks, and they're a rush team, and they like to push numbers up the ice. And if you turn pucks over inside the blue line, they're going to try to counter. I thought all of those areas, we really did a good job of not allowing them to get going. And like I've mentioned often, how we play without the puck really dictates a lot about what happens when we have the puck. And whether it's a heavy forecheck to get it back to create the offensive cycle, whether that's tracking back, picking, going all the distance to the back of the net and then popping a stick and going the other way, us defending in our D zone and then getting out on the rush. So I think that however you want to kind of categorize it, our defense 200 feet usually creates our offense for us.
And just one more on Hellebuck. Was it an official pact or just unofficial that you guys got together and got them all that run support on a night like today?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the guys, obviously, they was 500 at start, and they wanted to make sure that, everybody was at their best. And, I think that we've got some good things going here. And whenever you have those nights like that, when one of the guys being honored like he was, you want to be at your best. And I thought tonight that the guys tried to do whatever they can. Also, on the point of, like I've mentioned, we haven't scored a lot of goals, but there's been a lot of really good looks, and I thought we got rewarded tonight. Thank you.
There he goes, Winnipeg Jets head coach Scott Arniel after tonight's 8-3 victory by the Winnipeg Jets over the San Jose Sharks. A one-sided game, but one with many goals to go through. So without further ado, we go into the Play Now game recap.
The Play Now game recap.
Before we start, big thank you to Colby Spence, photographer, videographer extraordinaire.
Cobra.
His work in getting us Scott Arniel from the Matt Frost Media Center after tonight's Jets-Sharks game. We'll do it all again, of course, on Sunday afternoon when the Jets and the Penguins do battle in the Brian Little Appreciation game, or whatever the official title thereof is, but where Brian Little will be saluted for his many years of service to the Winnipeg Jets organization. One-sided.
Super pumped for that, and super pumped to watch Rucker. Oh wait,
as if you've got if you've got whatchamacallit, if you've got Flow Sports, you could have watched him play for Wilkes-Barre tonight.
I'm good.
There you go. Nobody, I don't think there's besides you, Dave. I'm not sure how many people are tuning in to see him play for Wilkes-Barre and the AHL affiliate of the Pittsburgh Penguins, rather than playing for the Penguins.
Scranton. Don't forget about Scranton.
Yeah, sorry for apologies to our.
Just go with WBS.
Yes. The Jets open the scoring. It's less than 2 minutes into the game. It's at the 1 minute 59 second mark. Josh Morrissey gets on the board, his first of the year, assist to Nikolai Ehlers. It just starts with a strong zone entry from Nikolai Ehlers, something the Jets were doing at ease for the entirety of the game. He comes down the right side, feeds it back to Colin Miller. Miller over to Morrissey. Certainly not a great goal, not a goal that should get past an NHL caliber goaltender. But what I like about it from the Jets' perspective, is that
Mackenzie Blackwood an NHL caliber goaltender anymore?
That's a separate issue for somebody else to decide. But he was an NHL caliber goaltender tonight, at least for the Sharks had hoped that he would be. But what I like from Morrissey's perspective is that he doesn't wait on this one. He gets the puck on his stick, even though he's not necessarily in a prime shooting position. There's a fair bit of traffic in front of Blackwood, so Morrissey just lets the shot go, and good things happen when you get a puck through and on net. And in this case, a good thing happened as it found the mesh and gave the Jets the early 1-0 lead.
Right. And you mentioned, Drew, the Ehlers speed, right? Like Ehlers speed, the zone entry pushes everybody back, right? Like, and we've seen him do this so many times over the years. Gets the puck back to DeMello, over to Morrissey, and Luke Cunnin is the player who challenges Morrissey there. And there's a little bit of traffic. It was the Nemesnikov line, obviously, out there, and it was Nemesnikov in front providing a little bit of traffic. But like, we've seen Morrissey do this. Like, this was intentional. This was not Morrissey putting the puck there hoping somebody tipped it. Like, he put that puck exactly like he was trying to score there, is what I'm saying. He was not looking for a Nemesnikov tip or anything like that. And yeah, it's a weak goal, but it's also smart because you have Blackwood, who is coming out to challenge a little bit, and he's not, to me, was not set and not really expecting it. So the placement of that shot by Morrissey, I thought, was really smart. But yes, Blackwood, ideally you want to save a long shot. Like, how many feet away was that shot, guys? Right? Like, that was a good 30 feet or something away, maybe longer. But Morrissey has shown, like, and again, that's not like a full strength shot by Morrissey either. He kind of puts these like light little low wristers on the net, and it, like I said, it's intentional. So you got to give Morrissey a lot of credit here. And obviously, before that goal happened, the Lowry line had a really good scoring chance 10 seconds into the game, right? So the Jets were all over the Sharks. Like, what were the shots at one point? 8-0, 9-0,
11-1.
There you go. So, I mean, it was all Jets in the first, 10 to 15 minutes.
But 60 minutes, but yes.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just a smart shot by Morrissey. But to me, like, even looking at the replay here, like, Blackwood saw it, right? Like, he just wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
He was not ready for it. Go ahead, Dave.
The only thing I'd say is I thought Nemesnikov did a good job of taking away the eyes a little bit and getting in front. But as the key point I think that you made was that Ehlers' speed drew from the Sharks' defense was, as much as we want to blame Blackwood, that defense was not exactly stellar on that play, because you had three guys watching Ehlers, and he's dipping the puck off to Miller, who gets it over to Morrissey. So, again, we tend to focus on the goaltenders because they're the last line of defense.
Sorry, Miller. I said DeMello. I meant, I just assumed it was DeMello because it's his D partner. But yeah, sorry, you're right. It was Miller, first assist of the year.
Yeah. So, but we tend to focus on what the goaltenders when they make mistakes. But I just thought defensively, the Sharks just didn't play that particularly well. And, again, the only thing is, Morrissey, to your point, he doesn't need to blast it because he's so smart with the way he puts the puck on the net. And I thought that Blackwood was like left the far post way too exposed. And that's obviously what Morrissey aimed for. Yes. But I just thought that Nemesnikov deserved some credit for taking the front of the net and just trying to take away his eyes. So it was a good play by them collectively. And again, that's what you wanted to see from that line because of the way Nikolai Ehlers talked about it. And that was the line that we've been talking about it, right? We've been talking about it through, even though we're coming into tonight's game, perfect 3-0.
Yeah.
They had this time off, and the biggest focus really wasn't the goaltending, because the goaltending had been perfect to date. Wasn't really the Scheifele line or the Lowry line or even the Kupari line. It was that second line, or sorry, I'm not supposed to use numbers, the Nemesnikov line. And that was the biggest question mark, right, boys, was how is that line going to get going? I think they answered that question.
They certainly did answer that question. First time in Winnipeg Jets NHL history that they've started a season 4-0. That's true for both 1.0 and 2.0 versions. So the Jets making history with tonight's victory. In my estimation, when it's a one-sided game on paper, what that team that's struggling shouldn't do is take multiple penalties in a row. But unfortunately, the San Jose Sharks did not follow my instructions on that front. Alex Wenberg is in the box for tripping. The Jets are on the power play. Then Jan Ruda goes to the box for high sticking, and it's a 5-on-3 opportunity for the Winnipeg Jets. And I love the new sort of animation feature on NHL.com that shows you the players moving around the ice in the course of a goal. And it's 5-on-3, and the Jets are, of course, just controlling the puck and moving it side to side, back and forth. And in this one, it's Scheifele to Velarde to Ehlers, who's all alone, and he absolutely wires it past Blackwood. No chance for the Devils goaltender on this one. The Jets capitalize on the power play. This one, a 2-man advantage, making it 2-0 before the game is even 10 minutes old, Ezzy.
And the thing is, on the power play, you expect Ehlers to be a factor, and we talked about last year. It's really mind-boggling that he didn't have any goals here, but it took them a bit of time here to get set up on the 5-on-3, and it's just again it's a nice pass by Perfetti, it's a nice shot by Ehlers, and it's that kind of quick strike mentality that I think we saw tonight and we've seen early on this season, and that's what I like to see. And
decisive.
Look,
It's
exactly
decisive actions by the Jets.
Exactly. And this is a point in the game where you want to put it out of reach, and that's where we saw this killer instinct. So yeah, just good execution by Perfetti and Ehlers here on this power play.
Yeah, exactly what the Jets would want. You have a 5-on-3 advantage. The power play has been clicking so far early in this year, and just the talent disparity that's on the ice from the Jets. 5 people on the power play versus the Sharks and their 3-man unit is significant. That the Jets needed to capitalize on that opportunity, and they did so to take that 2-0 lead. To the Sharks' credit, they get a power play opportunity a few minutes later. Niederreiter in the box for tripping. And this comes actually while the Jets still had the man advantage. So it became a 4-on-4 situation for about 11 seconds or thereabouts. And the Sharks get on the board. Tyler Toffoli in his return to Winnipeg after he had his disappointing run at the end of last year after being the trade deadline acquisition. He's very adept at tipping pucks. We know that. And he tips this one past Connor Hellebuck, assist to Jake Wallman and Mikael Granlund. The Sharks cut the Jets' lead in half, Dave, at the 11:43 mark of the first period.
Yeah, and it's funny because that's one of those, well, hold on a second, maybe something's happening here, because it looked, I think I may have used the stop, he's dead already, Simpsons meme, because when it was 2-0 and they're out shooting him 11-1, it didn't look like San Jose was going to have much. And then, that certainly gave them a little bit of life, Drew, but and wouldn't you know it was Tyler Toffoli who, I mean, you got to give, I got to tell you, I thought Tyler Toffoli was done after what we saw of him last year, and give him credit. 4 goals.
For a guy who's
already.
done, he's getting paid $6 million a year now.
For sure. But I mean, but my point is he's already got 4 goals in the season, which isn't too shabby. So,
he had 33 goals last year, Dave.
No, I know, but
Dave said he was done though, Ezzy. Dave declared him done.
I'm just saying, he just didn't fit. He didn't fit within the Jets system. Let's put it that way. By that, I think that's what I'm.
That's a good point.
What I'm trying to get at, and so, and he is a perfect. Look, he's a veteran guy, and to the point you both just made, he knows how to score. He makes himself a target, sets up at the side of the net, and Hayden Fleury is just, he's trying to block the shot, and of course, so now he's kind of caught in a no man's land, and it allows Toffoli to give himself a little bit of time and space, move just slightly back from where Fleury is, and Fleury has no chance to really intercept that puck. So it's just an easy redirection for Toffoli, and it's a nice play to make it a 2-1 game.
Yeah,
Can we go back to the Ehlers power play goal? I'll be honest. I had the complete wrong goal up that I was just looking at the replay of. It was the second Ehlers goal that I guess we're going to get into here. That's why when I said good execution by Ehlers and Perfetti, I was talking actually about the Jets' third goal that Ehlers scored.
Well, if it's any consolation, it's clear that neither Dave nor I listen to you at all anymore, so we didn't even pay any attention at all.
Now, Drew, I have a defense because I was A, doing stuff on the website, and B, promoting illegal curves, various things on our social media. So I have an excuse for not paying attention. As you are the host, you really should have called him out on that. Hold on, Drew. Was it that you were being considerate?
There you go.
Didn't want to make Ezzy look bad, so you just let it go.
And
for whatever reason,
I just want to say, because obviously, like we already talked about the second goal, even though I was talking about the wrong goal. But if anybody, if that's a regular viewer or listener, knows that often I make mistakes, so I'm willing to own that. But when there's 11 goals, you got to give me a little bit of slack. Cut me a little bit of slack because I clicked on the wrong one. But all I wanted to say was that is a perfect example of how much the Sharks, or any other team for that matter, has to respect Gabe Vilardi on the goal line to the right of Mackenzie Blackwood. And I love the fact that Vilardi could have easily tried to stuff that in, and he totally knew what he was doing and got that pass over to Ehlers. So I think you guys would agree. You're going to see those types of goals a lot, or you're going to see Ehlers go in the slot, and then you're going to see Scheifele on the half boards to Vilardi at the goal line. And then we saw that.
We talked about it last year.
Edmonton.
Pick your poison.
Yeah. Exactly.
When after they acquired Monahan, and Monahan was in the bumper spot, it was very much often a pick your poison when it comes to the Jets power play. Somebody, first of all, they have an extra guy on the ice, so who are you going to play soft on? If you play soft on Vilardi, he's just going to walk out from that goal line, and then all of a sudden you have a massive body with silky soft hands right in front of your goaltender who can who can do what he wants to do, stick handle in the phone booth, and as a result get some opportunities. In this case, on the Jets' second goal of the game, he dishes it off to Ehlers, who makes no mistake on it to give the Jets at that point the 2-0 lead. And then, as we talked about, Toffoli cuts it in half to 2-1. Let's get into the goal that you meant to talk about, or I'm not even sure if that's the one you did talk about or didn't talk about or meant to talk about but didn't or forgot. In any event, it's Ehlers' second goal of the first period. It comes just under 2 minutes, after San Jose cut the lead in half. It's Perfetti to Ehlers, and the play starts at the Jets' blue line with a great back check and a great defensive play by Cole Perfetti on this one to force the turnover, turn the puck back up the ice, and he finds a Nikolai Ehlers really streaking down that right side all by himself. And he just unleashes an absolute great shot that we know that he has, Dave, at beating Mackenzie Blackwood. Just poor defensive coverage by the San Jose Sharks, but great play by Perfetti. And all those plays that start with a solid defensive play are ones that the coaches are absolutely going to highlight, and make mention of, as Scott Arniel did in his post-game comments.
Well, for sure, because again, it's a 3-on-2 for the Sharks if Perfetti doesn't do the back check that he does. Mm-hmm. And, the defenseman who kind of held at the line, I think it was Pionk actually, he kind of forced the Sharks forward to kind of pause for just long enough to give Perfetti that opportunity to steal the puck. And so you got to give Perfetti credit because, he's been hard on himself and folks have been hard on him as well. But, these guys have been working in order to kind of force, to try and create, I should say. And so sure enough, Perfetti gets that puck over to Ehlers, and Ehlers, he just seems to be feeling it, right? I mean, you see him kick that puck up to his stick, and then it's a no-doubter to that far corner, and real nice shot. But to the point as he made earlier when he assessed this goal, this was the key is the defensive play by that line to take the puck away. And just to probably worth mentioning, I'm sure Ezel mentioned it, but did you see the numbers with that line on the ice? The goals,
100%.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Sorry, shot here. This is from Ezzy's boy Dmitry Filipovic. Shot attempts with Cole Perfetti on the ice, 21-0. Shots on goal, 14-0. Goals, 7-0.
Yeah, that's what Mike McIntyre asked Scott Arniel about that in the post game. But I mean that's you don't see numbers like that.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
And you literally can't ask for anything better
No.
out of that line, right? Like that line they weren't terrible through 3 games, but they just weren't at
Doing
the level
anything.
you'd like to see,
That's
the
right.
production level, and they weren't very good defensively. And I thought Scott Arniel's answer, was pretty interesting, right? Like he was saying, like that line was not turning the puck over in the zone; they were handling business. And on this goal, on the Jets' third goal, if we can just stick on this goal here for a second,
Hang on. Are you sure it's the third goal before you start saying anything?
right goal now, but the obviously it was Granlund, right, who turned the puck over, and Perfetti makes the play on Granlund. And what to me is the most impressive is then Cody Ceci comes over to close out Perfetti, and he kind of does this like scoop backhand pass to find Ehlers. Like the vision to see Ehlers was completely wide open.
Yeah.
For Perfetti to do that, and he didn't have a lot of time to make that decision with Ceci closing down on him, right?
Well, that's his best attribute is his vision and his hockey smarts, his
Absolutely.
hockey IQ.
That's the Perfetti that we saw for big chunks in the first half of the season. We didn't see it as much in the second half of the season, or obviously it's not. I'm not breaking it down perfectly, but there was definitely a tale of 2 seasons for Perfetti last year.
Yeah.
So I mean that's Perfetti at his best tonight, and it's great to see.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. 3-1 at that point for the Winnipeg Jets in the first period. They wrap up first period scoring by making it 4-1. Neil Pionk on the power play. So his first of the season, assist to Alex Iafallo and Vlad Nemesnikov. And again, it's another, there's nothing pretty about this goal. It's good hard work by the Jets to force the turnover deep in the Shark zone and win the puck battles well on the power play, but this is just not a goal that can't go in. I mean, Neil Pionk is firing it from the blue line. There's not a lot of traffic in front of Mackenzie Blackwood, really. To speak of. There's some guys in front, but he should. Alex Iafallo's there, and maybe he looked like he sort of got a tip on it, but clearly they still given the goal to Pionk. But Mackenzie Blackwood has to have that one, especially when your team is down 3-1 late in the first period, as it.
Yeah, and it was late in the power play too, right? And obviously with the second power play unit out there, I thought Iafallo, that was probably his best game of the year. And obviously, he gets, what did he have, 2 points or 3 points tonight? So it's easy, 2 points. So it's easy to say that, but I really thought he was noticeable out there. And the fourth line has been pretty good throughout the year. But you're right. I mentioned the first goal, the Morrissey goal, was a little bit weak from his perspective. But yeah, it looked like Iafallo might have tipped it. So you say, okay, well, it changed direction. So it's kind of tough to stop that, but he didn't. It was just clearly went in. So yes, there was a little bit of traffic in front of Blackwood, but that's a killer, right? Like we always talk about the 2-goal lead versus the 3-goal lead, right? And then obviously Kyle Connor, we'll get into that goal next. He puts the game out of reach. The Jets go up 5-1. It's over. It really is, especially for a team that's second game of a back-to-back and who is yet to win a game this season, right? So, but again, like give the Jets credit here. You're sitting there watching the game thinking, okay, the Jets can really run away with it here. First power play units out there. I remember Connor had a decent scoring chance. Then the second power play unit comes out there, and they really put this game out of reach. Like that's a killer. We always talk about those late goals that are killers. And this goal is absolutely no different. So yes, it's a soft goal, but give the Jets credit. It's a pretty simple, just hardworking goal. Get the puck back to the point, get a little traffic in front, and that's all you really need to beat Mackenzie Blackwood apparently these days.
Well, if you're playing against a goalie who's got very low confidence, as Blackwood probably does have low confidence, put the puck on net. No reason not to. Good things are going to happen. It's unlikely that there might even just be a rebound, even if it's something like that. Put the puck on net. Good things are going to happen. The Jets prove that on two of their 4 first period goals, the Morrissey and Pionk ones, shots from the point that are beating Mackenzie Blackwood. Second period begins. Jets up 4-1 after 20. They make it 5-1, a minute 46 into the second period. It's Kyle Connor, his third of the year, Neil Pionk and Gabe Velarde on the assist. And we had a lot of goals to choose from, but I'm going to declare this one to be our Seagram shot of the game.
The Seagram shot of the game.
big thanks to our friends at Seagram's for their continued support of the Illegal Curve post-game show. Seagram's VO. It's one of the fine Seagram's products available at your local Manitoba Liquor Mart. It's masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian. Big thanks to Seagram's for their continued support, as I mentioned. And this is, again, good vision by Kyle Connor to find Neil Pionk in space. Terrible coverage by the San Jose Sharks. They got 5 guys on one side of the ice surface. So Pionk comes in. He's got plenty of space, and he finds Connor as the bit of the trailer on this one. You would think you might want to pick up a guy like Kyle Connor. He's a pretty decent goal scorer in this league, but the Sharks were a tire fire tonight. Connor comes in from just really the face-off circle, and this is just an exceptional shot, Dave. I mean, that's why it's the Seagram shot of the game. It's just such an unbelievable shot. We know how good Kyle Connor is as a goal scorer. You got to see it all in one fall swoop in this goal to make it 5-1 for the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was over at this point, right? I mean, his shot is so elite, and that it's remarkable. And the funny, it was so good that it was almost like people didn't realize it had gone in. Like, you kind of looked at Kyle Connor knew it was in. The goal judge, to his credit, knew that it was in, but it seemed like it was almost like it is in and out of the net so quickly, that almost like the Jets didn't celebrate. It was almost like, did that hit the post? Did that not go in? But like his shot, and I know that we always talk about it. We talk about how elite it is. That's Kyle Connor's shot being just elite. I mean, he picked that top corner so beautifully. Drew, that was the only option for the Seagram shot of the game, as far as I'm concerned. There were some nice goals tonight, but there's no question that was the best shot.
I considered Perfetti's toe drag and then snipe.
That was nice.
Shot of the game. We didn't call it goal of the game. It's shot of the game.
Yeah, I know, but Perfetti's shot there was pretty good also, though.
We'll give Perfetti the Seagram's toe drag of the game.
Yeah, you can give him the toe drag of the game.
I'm just saying, like, to me, that was, first of all, you're right. Getting back to the idea of what Neil Pionk and Kyle Connor did together, that was really good, the way they played off of each other. And again, isolating the Sharks' defense or lack thereof. I mean, the fact is, Neil Pionk wasn't coming in with speed. Anything but, really. And they just had a lot of time and space that you can never give a player like Kyle Connor. And then when you give him that opportunity, he's going to burn you. And that's exactly what he did. And, as he loves to say, now he's on pace for 62 goals.
It's funny, but, Drew mentioned this earlier. The thing that stands out, like, look, we're not going to take anything away. That the word you used is perfect. It's an elite shot. One of the best shots in the entire league. Just watching the replay, there's 4 Sharks back, and they're all watching Pionk, right? Like, it's the Jake Wallman, Cody Ceci defense pair out there. And we should mention the Sharks were in the middle of a line change. But, I mean, they're just all watching Pionk, and it's like nobody sees Kyle Connor coming up, coming down Main Street. It's unbelievable. And again, like, the Jets, that's the thing. The Jets were taking what was given to them. It's like, okay, you want to let Kyle Connor rip a shot right down the middle? He'll do that, and they'll go up 5-1, right? So, I mean, the Jets aren't going to apologize for scoring 8 goals on the Sharks. They were taking what was given to them, and what was given to them was just pretty poor defensive coverage. And Dave's right. I mean, like, Pionk, it's not like Pionk is coming down the right wing going 90 miles an hour. He just takes the pass from, I think it was Nemesnikov, and he kind of just takes it up the middle. Pardon me.
It was Connor.
It was Connor that passed him the puck?
Yeah.
In the neutral zone?
Connor feeds it into the softs.
That was Connor.
Base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, like, it was just like puck watching from the Sharks. And so they're going to make you pay. The Jets are going to make you pay. That's the thing. The Sharks got a few goals. That's fine. But, the Jets were not going to let the Sharks get too close in this game. So it was just a beautiful shot and a really nice pass by Pionk. Pionk's been really good, guys. Like, he was criticized a lot, including us. Like, he struggled at times. And it's only 4 games. We're not going to get too excited. But he's been really good so far this year.
He has been, no question about that. 5-1 at that point for the Jets early in the second period, and then they went about 9 minutes or so without a goal, just under 9 minutes, until the Sharks made it 5-2. Luke Cunnin, old friend of the Winnipeg Jets from his time in the Nashville Predators organization. He gets his first of the year. I think he was with the Wild as well, if I'm not mistaken, before that.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a first round pick of the Wild.
Yeah, that's right. He gets his first of the year assist to Carl Grundstrom and Cody Ceci. It's a bit of a loose puck that ends up on Cunning's stick in the middle of the slot. Probably one that Connor Hellebuck wants back, beats him through the wickets. Not a great goal. Certainly not one that you usually expect to see get through Connor Hellebuck. But Hellebuck may have been a bit bored. He may have been a bit rusty. The ice had been tilted so significantly in one direction. But nonetheless, it's his first of the year, and that cuts the Jets' lead from 5-1 to 5-2 halfway through the second period. And the comeback is on for the San Jose Sharks.
Unfortunately not. But, speaking of Cunnin being a first-round pick, the Sharks kind of have a little bit of a kind of cast-off thing going, like Ty Dellandrea. He's a former
bad teams.
Well, I'm just saying, though, like Klim Kostin, he's a former first-round pick of the Blues. Yeah. Ty Dellandrea, former first-round pick of the Stars. Luke Cunnin, former first-round pick of the Blues.
Giovanni Smith, the former second-round pick of the Red Wings. I mean,
yeah,
they're a team filled with guys who are journeymen, who are, they fill out the roster of bad teams is what they do.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. Like they're going to be more respectable this year, but they're not going to be very good. They just aren't. I mean, nobody is expecting the Sharks to have some type of miraculous, first half of the season comeback here. They've already started off the season, whatever
it's
they
over,
are.
Rock.
Yeah, 0-3-2. But you mentioned, Hellebuck would like to have this one back. It takes. The shot is blocked. Was it Wallman who took the shot, and it was blocked by IFL? I forget who it was who took the point shot, but it's just a fortuitous bounce to Luke Cunnin. And, look, Luke Cunnin, he scored some goals in the NHL. He's 26, 27 years old. He's a decent player. We mentioned former first round pick. I was about to say first overall pick. He was not a first overall pick. But again, even though Hellebuck would like to have that back, I think, he has, look, when you have an NHL player who's able to snipe the puck like that up the middle, I'm not going to, especially on Hellebuck night, boys, yeah. I'm not going to, give Hellebuck, I'm not going to, break his balls about, 1 or 2 bad goals in an 8-3 win.
That's very reasonable of you. Cole Perfetti, that's the end of the scoring after 40 minutes, 5-2 for the Jets after 40. Perfetti makes it 6-2, again, on the power play, a theme in tonight's game, the Jets scoring power play goals, Dave. This is the toe drag goal. Perfetti assists to Alex Iafallo and Vlad Nemesnikov, and he just absolutely shows off those silky hands that he's got, and walking around Nico Sturm, embarrassing him a little bit on the goal, and then wiring it past Vitek Vanacek, who's now into the goal for the Sharks. He replaced Mackenzie Blackwood after the 5th goal. Just a beautiful shot by Cole Perfetti, giving the Jets the 6-2 lead early in the, or I guess halfway through the third period. Not late, not early, but halfway through the third period at this point in time.
Yeah, and you finally got a smile out of number 91. But look, it's just that their team is connected. So it's a nice pass by Iafallo, and Perfetti does what he does. In tight, he's got good hands. Look at that move, right? He pulls the puck towards him and just goes up and over. And again, Drew, the Sharks. I mean, I think the key to really be, I don't want to rein everybody in, as I make my horse gesture for those on the podcast. But the fact of the matter is,
can you make a horse noise for the people on the podcast?
I will not.
You don't want to neigh for us?
Nay to your request for a nay.
Moose noise.
The point I was going to make, though, is that this is a Sharks team that is pretty disastrous in their own end from what we've seen tonight. Like defensively, this has been just a telltale, like there's a mistake. Now, again, you don't apologize for when you have the best goaltender in the league, and you also don't apologize when you take advantage of your opponent. But I'm just saying that you just watch these guys, and they're puck watching, and they're standing around.
Yep. And
credit Perfetti, because he went around the guys that were standing there like logs essentially. But I mean, it's good for the Jets because it makes them feel good about themselves. They're not, those guys, especially Nemesnikov, Perfetti, and Ehlers, feel like they've gotten off the schneid, so they're happy with themselves, and they can bring that mentality now into the game on Sunday for Pittsburgh.
Okay, we have to stick on this goal for. We can't downplay just how crazy that toe drag was on
nice.
Nico Sturm,
Sure.
like, because that's a hard pass, but a perfect hard pass by Iafallo to Perfetti coming down the middle. And for him, like, he could have easily, Dave, just shot the puck, right? Like, he could have one-timed it or just stopped it and shot it. But that extra little, like, there's not many guys that, like, Ehlers is one guy that could do that. You know, Connor, Scheifele, Velarde. Like, actually, the Jets have quite a few guys who can do that. But I just wanted to give Perfetti his just props, because that was. I mean, just watch it again. Like, I've watched it now 3 or 4 times here on my laptop on my open tabs here. Just incredible.
And people, you don't want to know what's on the other open tabs on Ezzy's laptop. You don't want to ask that question.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard of this dark web, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's where you need to spend more of your time, is on the dark web. That's great for everybody involved.
Sure. Here's my credit card, everybody.
Yeah, that was absolutely right, Ezzy. It was a beautiful goal by Perfetti there on the power play. 6-2. I mean, we can go through the remaining goals. You know, Perfetti again on the power play. We'll skip over the fact that the Sharks scored 19 seconds later. Fabian Zetterlund getting his third there to make it 6-3. Perfetti makes it 7-3 again on the power play, and then the Mesnikov wraps up the scoring 8-3 with 33 seconds to go in the game. I have to say, the Mesnikov and Pionk probably had the quietest 4-point games. That you don't really think that come to mind. They were both very good, obviously, in tonight's game. Both scored goals. Both were noticeable for all the right reasons. But when they, at the end of the game, when it came out, Pionk had 4 and Nemesnikov had 4. When did that happen? Sort of, they didn't necessarily get a lot of the headlines there, but great performances all around. Go ahead, Dave.
Fun fact: Neil Pionk now has more points as a member of the Winnipeg Jets than Jacob Trouba, who he was traded for. And that was just when he had 2 points in the game. He had slipped past Jacob Trouba. I think he has 180 points now as a member of the Winnipeg Jets. And he did it in about 33 fewer games than Trouba achieved his marker. So for those keeping track, he is 13th on the all-time list. He has 180. Well, he has 182 points, but it was 180 points, which was enough to give him one more than Jacob Trouba's 179, Ezzy.
Well, when it comes to random stats, you know that Dave M is the man for that.
Hold on, I got another one. Nikolai Ehlers played in game number 609, which ties him technically. Jets fans don't like it when I say this kind of stuff, with Dustin Byfuglien, but I'm mentioning Byfuglien, so they'll like that, even though Byfuglien's combined Atlanta and Winnipeg games. But he and Byfuglien now are tied for games played.
Well, there you go. Dave M bringing all of the latest stats. And that's enough.
No, last one. It was the 500th start for Connor Hellebuyck.
Well, that much we all knew. We all saw the game. We all saw it was Hellebuyck night.
You didn't say it.
Well, I mean, I think everyone knew that. They gave him that rousing ovation. That was, by the way, before we go to break, that was a great ovation. That was more than just sort of the courtesy claps or the polite applause. There was some true heartfelt, holy bleep, where would this team be for the last decade without Connor Hellebuyck ovation there in that first TV timeout, or that TV timeout in the first period. So good for him, and you could see how much it sort of meant to him, and I think it meant a lot to Chuck as well, who looked like he was getting maybe a little teary-eyed in the crowd there as well. There you go. Go ahead.
He's proud of his son. And I'm just going to put it out there. I think Chuck Hellebuyck should be here for every single Jets home game. He just makes me happy. Like, I just really like him. Remember we had him on the show last year. He was just great. And I think he's become a Jets fan favorite. Remember the international, the international influencer from last year, right? So very special night for Hellebuyck. The craziest thing is Hellebuyck is such a perfectionist that he's probably going to be beating himself up over the fact that he let 3 goals in. But absolutely, I can guarantee you, Helly, nobody cares. Everybody loves you, and you're right, Drew. The Jets organization is lucky to have him because he's the best goalie in the world right now.
You're right about that. Let's go to break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on tonight's 8-3 Jets victory. Dave, I'm sure we'll do a Manuk Moose Minute, and we'll preview tomorrow morning's Illegal Curve Hockey Show. Drew Mandel, Dave Manuk, Ezra Ginsburg. It's the Illegal Curve post-game show presented by Play Now, live on a Friday night.
We want to thank you for not betting with Play Now and choosing our illegal gambling site instead.
because we couldn't afford things like this without your money.
So much of your money.
Now, you might have questions like,
do our profits benefit your community?
No.
or bet with Play Now, Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site.
Dining, entertainment, parking, and convenience, all in one spot. City Place is located in the heart of downtown Winnipeg, attached to the Canada Life Centre. Whether you're working, living, or out for a night in the downtown, make City Place your go-to destination before or after the fun finds you. Lunchtime, game time, anytime, visit City Place at 333 St. Mary Avenue, next to Canada Life Centre. Holt Dental, the new official dentist of Illegal Curve, has a philosophy rooted in two unyielding principles: genuinely caring about patients and providing outstanding service. Being a patient of Holt Dental means more than just checkups and treatments. It's taking the time to listen and talk to each patient so they can achieve the best long-term health, functionality, and aesthetics for their teeth, mouth, and gums. Conveniently located at Grant Park Festival on Taylor Avenue, Holt Dental is dentistry of the highest quality in a comfortable and relaxed environment. For more information, visit holtdental.ca. Oh, and there's plenty of free parking at the front door, too. Celebrating its 40th year as Winnipeg's home for stand-up comedy, Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club has recently been named Canada's top comedy club and a top 5 comedy club in North America. From birthday parties to date nights to fundraisers and everything in between, Rumors is your destination for the best and most affordable live entertainment Winnipeg has to offer. For more information on upcoming shows, Rumors' incredible promotions, and to purchase tickets, visit rumorscomedyclub.com.
So you're a pizza person, you married a wing person, but somehow your kids are salad people. You can't pick your fam, but you can pick your BP meal deal, starting from $18.99 for takeout or delivery at bostonpizza.com.
I'm going to call this breaking news, but my tongue is firmly in cheek. Scott Billick, this is 36 minutes ago, so it's, I guess, old news. Apparently, a fan ran onto the ice and did snow angels at center ice during the post-game celebration.
Yeah.
I missed that entirely.
Well, I only knew because I didn't know, but I mean, I saw Scott's tweet, but more importantly, I noticed someone in the chat was surprised to see Ezzy in his basement because they thought he had run on the ice.
That's funny. I missed that one entirely until I just saw Scott.
I have some other breaking news. The Avalanche have gone up 3-2 on the Anaheim Ducks. It's crazy to think that I'm actually saying that as if that's breaking news, because as you guys know, the Avalanche don't have a win yet this year, and you would think that they would be doing to the Ducks what the Jets did to the Sharks tonight, right, guys? Because the Ducks are not very good, but the Ducks were actually up 2-0 on the Avalanche, so they had to come back. There's a couple minutes left. They're up 3-2.
Well,
and Ducks are on the power play, Ezzy.
Yep. There you go. There's the latest updates from all around the NHL and the security side of things on this Friday night. Jets victorious 8-3 over the San Jose Sharks. Again, Legal Curve Hockey Show tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Touch on this game, talk about the Jets and the Penguins on Sunday as the Jets look to improve to 5-0 early on the season. The Moose were in action tonight as well. A lot fewer goals in that game than in tonight's game. Dave M will give us the Minuk Moose Minute.
Put on your antlers. It's time for the Minuk Moose Minute on the Illegal Curve Hockey Show.
Hey, same outfit. Really not much to discuss. The Moose fell in Grand Rapids, their first loss of the season. It's only the third game of the season as they were taking on their division rivals in the Griffins. Unfortunate for them, they lose 1-0, and the goal itself wasn't a great one. Daniel Torgerson, a little too casual in the neutral zone, and the Griffins make them pay to scoring on that mistake. And the Moose came close. Dylan Anhorn, he made his season debut for the Moose, and he came close to tying it up on a nice play late in the third but they just couldn't get it, couldn't generate enough, had some chances, but ultimately fall 1-0. Ville Husso in goal for Grand Rapids. So he holds on for the shutout win. The only real notable thing I would say is that Chaz Lucius, who was in powder blue, remember we're talking about ice time management with the Sharks. The Moose are similarly employing that with Chaz Lucius, the Jets 2021 first rounder. So he made his season debut, which I wasn't certain of because throughout the course of the week of practice, and the Moose were only practiced Tuesday, Wednesday before leaving on Thursday, but he was in powder blue except for on Thursday, on Wednesday, he did switch onto PP2, put on the white jersey. So I thought maybe that's a tell that he's going to play this weekend. I thought maybe they'll play him tomorrow night, maybe not necessarily tonight, but sure enough, he must have felt good after the morning skate in Grand Rapids, and he got into his first game. So he looks good, and it's a good sign that he played. We'll see if he plays tomorrow or if they're going to manage him. But yeah, not much to report other than the Moose fall 1-0 to Grand Rapids, and now they are down 2-1-0. They'll have a rematch tomorrow night against these same Griffins. And before I leave off, because I should mention it, 2024 fourth rounder Kevin He picked up 2 goals and an assist last night for those Niagara Ice Dogs to leapfrog into first place. I haven't checked the stats tonight, but he's in first place in OHL scoring with 9 goals and 9 assists. Rather opposite stories with Colby Barlow, the 2023 first rounder for the Winnipeg Jets, because he has, even though after the big trade and was acquired by Oshawa boys, he is still, and again, I haven't checked tonight's stats. I don't know if Oshawa was in play yesterday, so I don't know if they play today or they play tomorrow, but he has no points for Oshawa through 6 games. He has a shootout goal, which was a game winner, but of course that doesn't count individually. So Colby Barlow in tough a little bit with his new team. Kevin he is him as he right now so far to start the 2024-25 OHL season.
Looking like a steal for a fourth rounder.
Yeah. A lot of upside on display right now. And exactly, if you can find a guy in the 4th round, like the Jets once found a guy in the 5th round, then that can all of a sudden slot into your lineup. You never know what the success is going to look like, but that would certainly be a shot in the dark come to fruition for the Winnipeg Jets. The Anaheim Ducks tied it up. Troy Terry scored with 13 seconds to go. That game off to overtime. It's too early in the year to look at the scoreboard, but that game off to overtime between the Ducks and the Avalanche.
Did you guys see that Capo Kakinen is having visa issues?
Yeah, it was really weird because I knew that because someone said that he was having an which is not abnormal. I mean,
why wouldn't you just go to MasterCard?
No, but
as he did already try that joke on me yesterday, but it doesn't matter. I'll let it get away.
I did
laugh yesterday.
That's the thing. I like to test out the jokes with Dave, and then if they work a little bit, then I'll bring them out on the show. But that was probably one that I could have just left at home.
It was a bit of a cheesy dad joke there.
But
that had a lot of dad joke vibes right there.
Who's in net for Colorado tonight?
I believe is
it Gorgiev?
I thought it was Georgiev, but let me see if I can find that answer for you real quick here, Dave. Putting me on the spot. Georgiev in net isn't. Yeah.
But
it's Georgiev.
To the further to that,
3 goals against on 19 shots. So the save percentage.
Colorado
that's why Dave, they scooped up Kakinen on, like, I honestly think Kakinen would be in this game if he wasn't having credit card issues.
Well, my favorite stat, and again, I don't know why we're talking about this. It's game 4 of the season, game 5 for the Avalanche. My favorite stat is that Georgiev put up an 800 save percentage the other night, and that improved his save percentage on the year by having that 800 save percentage. But again, far too early.
Them and Nashville, both if they don't win tonight,
go Ducks.
Both without a win potentially. That's pretty shocking.
Yeah,
I think it's 4 games for Nashville and 5 games for Colorado.
Well, no, but it's especially because all the Jets and Stars are doing is win, right? So all you're doing is you're putting yourself really
can you declare them dead and they're not going to make the playoffs? Just like
no.
Oilers last year? Can you do that?
No, it's way too early to be doing that. But like honestly, if you go 0-7, 0-8, it's tough to make the playoffs for these teams.
Well, you got an uphill climb, is what you have. But In any event, Jets win 8-3 tonight over the San Jose Sharks. We're back at it tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, getting you set for the Jets and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Big thanks to all of the sponsors of Illegal Curve who make the post-game show, the Saturday show, and the website a possibility. Play Now is the title sponsor of our programming. Sign up for Play Now and get a casino welcome bonus up to $150. Play Now is Manitoba's local legal and secure gambling site and the official betting partner of the Winnipeg Jets. Conditions apply. 18 plus. Please enjoy responsibly. Our friends at Rumors Restaurant and Comedy Club, they've been with us from the get-go. Maddie Smith is at Rumors. 2 shows tomorrow. Tremendously funny, tremendously popular. A few tickets left. rumorscomedyclub.com. Holt Dental, City Place will be at City Place on the 28th. That's during the noon hour. The special monthly noon hour show at City Place coming up Monday, October 28th. We'll get you set for the Jets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if you're in the downtown area or you want to visit the downtown area, be sure to join us at City Place Monday, October 28th. Boston Pizza, and of course our friends at Seagram's. All these great companies are sponsors of us here at Illegal Curve, so we want you to support them because they support us. We'll be back 9 a.m. tomorrow for the Jets, for the Illegal Curve Hockey Show, all over the Jets and the Penguins. For Dave Manouk, for Ezra Ginsburg, I'm your host, Drew Mandel. Until 9 a.m., we wish you good night and good luck, and thanks for watching the Illegal Curve post-game show.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast from Illegal Curve Hockey. For more great Illegal Curve content, subscribe to the Illegal Curve YouTube channel, follow at Illegal Curve on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and visit your online home for hockey in Winnipeg, illegalcurve.com.